Thank you guys so much for having us back again for another week here at Excel Performance Training for this week's Thrive Training Tip. Now this week what we want to talk about is hip mobility, the importance of it, and how that can actually be hindering your athletic performance and typically sometimes be causing some low back pain. Now there's three things that we use here at Excel Performance Training to help our athletes and our clients to increase their hip mobility. We do these almost every day as part of our warm-up, and they're great exercises you can do at the gym before you start your workout. You can get up from your desk and do, or you can do it at home just as you're getting ready for bed, just trying to get everything loosened up, or when you first wake up in the morning. The first thing that we're going to do is called a Spider-Man stretch. You're going to see why it's called Spider-Man, because when you do it, you kind of look like Spider-Man. So what we do is we have our athletes start into a push-up position. We want to make sure our hands are underneath their shoulders, feet are together, and the stomach's nice and tight. Then we're going to bring the right foot up on the outside of our right hand, drop that left knee down to the ground, and push our chest up and our hips into the floor. This is a great stretch because we're getting two different things happening right now. We're stretching the front of those hip flexors on that knee that's down, and on the back side, we're getting those hip rotators to get nice and loosened up too. Big thing we want to make sure with this is that this foot that comes up on the outside of the hand is flat on the ground. This knee stays over the ankle, and that we're not rolling up on the toes. You'll see here on the other side, a lot of times what happens is people will short step it, they'll load the toe, loads the knee, and it's not what we want to do. So we want to make sure if they're not very flexible, we'll have them walk that foot up and then send the hips back so this shin stays nice and vertical. Again, chest up, hips on the floor. We're having them squeeze that butt cheek, pushing the hips on the floor, getting a nice good stretch. Like I said earlier, if we don't have very mobile hips, what tends to happen sometimes, if the hips don't move, all the loading gets to the lower back or that lumbar spine. So if you're having back problems, getting these hips to move properly is going to hopefully alleviate some of that back pain and that tightness that you're having back there. Because like I said, if one joint is unable to move, the body's going to figure out some place where it has to move. So a lot of times you'll see athletes where if the hips are tight, they might do a leg swing, for example, or a leg raise, and if the hips can't move, the lower back has to move. So the Spider-Man stretch is a great way to kind of help and open up the hips. Another thing that tight hips can help that can prevent is being able to squat properly. Obviously, squatting is very important for athletic development, being able to move properly. So one thing that we do is a toe touch squat. This is a great exercise for, again, increasing that hip mobility, but also what it does is it kind of reboots or reprograms your squat. So if you think about whenever you're a kid, if you watch Little Baby Squat, they learn how to squat from the bottom up. And so that's what we have our clients do here. So for a toe touch squat, again, we want our feet shoulder width apart. We're going to go down, touch our toes, drop all the way down to the bottom of our squat. We're going to push our elbows into our knees, again, working on that hip mobility. Hands come up over our heads, and then stand up. So from a side view, you can see I'm getting a good hamstring stretch in, pulling myself down to the bottom of my squat, making sure the weight's on my heels, my chest is up. I'm able to drive my knees out with my elbows, again, opening up the hips, hands up over the head, and then stand up. Now, once we've got that down, or if that's pretty easy, what we'll have somebody do, progress up to a warm-up, is an overhead squat. So for this, you can use a broomstick, a dowel rod, some kind of PVC, just to, again, kind of increase the hip mobility that's needed. So the overhead squat's great because not only are you working on the hip mobility, now you're getting a little shoulder, thoracic spine, upper back mobility as well. So for this, we have our clients start, bar on the head, get their elbows at a 90, push it up, and now same thing, we send our hips back, so we drop our knees out. Again, we're making sure the weight's on the heels, sending those hips back, pulling ourselves all the way down to the bottom of a deep squat, keeping our torso up nice and tall as we do this. What we don't want to see if a client is rounding forward, that PVC's dropping way down in front, it's probably not a good idea for them to be doing this exercise, so we'll have them go back down to the toe touch squat. Now, like I said, we can do this as part of our warm-up. It's not going to be something that we do typically as a strength part. It's going to be more as our mobility prep work that we do here for our Thrive training. So for the Spider-Man stretch, typically one set of about 5 Spider-Man stretches on each side. For the toe touch squats, typically one set of about 5 to 8 reps. And for the overhead squat, the same exact thing, about one set of 5 to 8 reps. Guys, add this every day in as part of your warm-up. You're going to see those hips start to move better. You might even see improvements in your squats after just one session. You're going to move better, feel better, and perform better, which is what we're all about here at Excel Performance Training. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please check us out on our website, excelperformancetraining.com, or give us a call at 918-949-4223. Remember, next season starts now at Excel Performance Training. Thank you so much, guys, and back to you in the studio.